Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the human ship Defiant, watching the stars through the wide windows. The ship moved slowly through space, scanning for anything unusual. This was their job, to explore empty parts of the galaxy and report back to Earth Command. "Captain, we're getting some strange readings ahead," said Lisa Grant from her station. She was the ship's tactical officer, a young woman with sharp eyes who never missed anything important. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel as she studied the data. Jake walked over to look at her screen. "What kind of readings?" "Metal signatures. Lots of them. And they're big." Lisa frowned as more information appeared on her display. "Sir, these objects are massive, much larger than any ship we've ever seen." The Defiance engineer, Pete Sullivan, looked up from his workstation. He was a quiet man who usually kept to himself, but now he seemed excited. "Captain, the metal composition is unlike anything in our databases. It's not from any known civilization." Amy Rodriguez, the communications officer, turned in her chair. "Sir, I'm not picking up any signals from the area. Whatever's out there, it's completely silent." Jake made his decision quickly. "Take us in, for a closer look. But keep our shields up and weapons ready." The Defiant moved forward through the asteroid field. As they got closer, the crew could see what the sensors had detected. Floating among the rocks were huge structures made of dark metal. They looked like ships, but they were different from anything humans or aliens had ever built. The ships were smooth and curved, with strange symbols carved into their surfaces. "My God," whispered Lisa. "How long have these been here?" Pete ran. More scans on the mysterious vessels. "Based on the metal decay and cosmic radiation damage, I'd say thousands of years. Maybe more." Jake studied the alien ships through the main viewer. There were dozens of them, each one the size of a small city. They floated dead in space. No lights, no power, no signs of life. But something about them made him feel uneasy. "Amy, are you sure there are no signals coming from those ships?" Amy checked her equipment again. "Nothing, sir. They're completely dead." Jake nodded, but he still felt worried. "Pete, do you recognize the design?" The engineer shook his head. "No, sir. But the symbols on the hulls, they look familiar. I think I've seen something like them before." "Where?" Pete thought for a moment. "In the archives back on Earth. There are old alien texts that mention an ancient race called the Elders. These symbols might be their writing." The name sent a chill through the bridge. Every human had heard stories about the Elders. They were supposed to be an ancient civilization that once ruled the entire galaxy. According to legend, they had technology so advanced it seemed like magic. Then one day, they simply vanished, leaving behind only ruins and stories. Most alien races in the galaxy worshipped the Elders like gods. They built temples around Elder artifacts and based their entire cultures on what they thought Elder society had been like. The aliens believed that someday the Elders would return and bring peace to the galaxy. Humans were different. They respected the Elders as an advanced civilization, but they didn't worship them. This sometimes caused problems with alien traders and diplomats who thought humans were disrespectful. "Captain," Lisa said, "I'm detecting a faint energy reading from the largest ship. It's very weak, but it's there." Jake looked at the massive vessel she was pointing to. It was bigger than all the others, with more complex designs carved into its hull. Unlike the other ships, this one had a faint glow coming from small windows along its sides. "Could there be survivors?" Amy asked. "After thousands of years?" Pete shook his head. "Not likely. But there might be automated systems still running, on backup power." Jake thought about their options. Earth Command had sent them out here to explore and gather information. These ships were clearly an important discovery, but they were also dangerous. Ancient alien technology could be unpredictable. "We're going to board the large ship," Jake decided. "Lisa, you're with me. Pete, I need you to figure out how to get inside. Amy, monitor all frequencies. If anything happens, send a message to Earth immediately." Pete used the ship's scanners to find what looked like an airlock on the Elder vessel. The Defiant moved carefully alongside the ancient ship and extended a docking tube. Jake and Lisa put on their spacesuits and checked their equipment. Be careful in there, Amy said over the radio. We don't know what kind of security systems they might have. The airlock opened with surprising ease. Inside, the Elder ship was dark except for the light from their helmet lamps. The corridors were wide and high, built for beings much larger than humans. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, providing just enough light to see. Jake and Lisa moved carefully through the ship. Their footsteps echoed in the empty halls. Everything was covered in dust, but the ship seemed to be in good condition, despite its age. They found what appeared to be the ship's main control room. It was a huge chamber filled with curved panels and displays. Most of the equipment was dark, but some screens still showed scrolling text in the Elder language. Lisa, are you getting this recorded? Yes, sir, but I don't understand any of it. Jake approached the central control panel. It was different from human or alien technology. Instead of buttons and switches, it had smooth surfaces that responded to touch. When he placed his hand on one of the panels, it lit up brightly. Suddenly, all the screens in the room came to life. Text scrolled rapidly across the displays, and a low humming sound filled the chamber. Jake pulled his hand away, but the systems continued to activate. Captain, what did you do? Lisa asked nervously. I don't know. I just touched the panel. The humming grew louder, and Jake could feel vibrations through the floor. Lights began turning on throughout the ship. After thousands of years of silence, the Elder vessel was waking up. Jake! Amy's voice crackled through their radios. Something's happening out here. The other ships are starting to power up too. Through the control room's windows, Jake could see lights appearing on the other Elder vessels. One by one, the ancient ships were coming back to life. Then the central display in front of them showed a star map of the galaxy. Red dots began appearing on the map, spreading outward like an infection. Jake realized with growing horror that each red dot represented a signal being sent to other Elder ships hidden throughout the galaxy. We need to get out of here, Jake said. Now. But as they turned to leave, a new sound filled the control room. It was a voice speaking in perfect human English. Welcome, the voice said calmly. The cleansing will now begin. Jake and Lisa ran for the exit as the Elder ship fully awakened around them. Behind them, the ancient systems continued their work, sending signals across the galaxy to awaken ships that had been sleeping since before human civilization began. The galaxy was about to change forever, and humanity had no idea what was coming. Admiral Kate Phillips sat in her office at Earth Command, reading the reports that came in every hour. Each one brought worse news. Entire star systems had gone silent across the galaxy. At first, they thought it was equipment failure or communication problems. Now they knew the truth was much worse. The Elder ships were destroying everything. Admiral, her aide called from the doorway. Commander Beck is here with the latest intelligence report. Ryan Beck entered the office looking tired and grim. He commanded the stealth ship Shadow, one of the few human vessels that could move through space without being detected. For the past month, he had been gathering information about what the aliens were calling the Great Cleansing. What did you find out there, Ryan? Kate asked. Beck sat down heavily in the chair across from her desk. It's worse than we thought. The Elder ships aren't just attacking randomly. They're following a pattern. He activated a holographic display that showed a map of the galaxy. Red marks indicated where civilizations had been destroyed. The pattern was clear. The Elder ships were targeting the most advanced worlds first. They're eliminating any species that has developed beyond a certain level of technology, Beck continued. The Zenthari had cities that could house millions of people, gone. The Nexus Coalition had ships that could travel between galaxies, destroyed. Every advanced civilization is being wiped out. Kate studied the map. What about the less advanced species? The Elders leave them alone. It's like they have a list of what technology is allowed and what isn't. Anyone who goes beyond those limits gets eliminated. Kate felt a chill run down her spine. And where do humans fit on that list? Beck's expression grew darker. We're at the top. According to the aliens we've talked to, humans are considered the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The Elders want us gone first. The Admiral stood up and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the defense stations that protected Earth. Huge weapons platforms and shield generators surrounded the planet, but she wondered if they would be enough against ships that had destroyed entire star systems. "There's something else," Beck said quietly. "The other alien species aren't fighting back. They're helping the Elders." Kate turned around in surprise. "What do you mean?" "The remaining alien governments have declared the Elder return to be a holy event. They believe this is divine judgment and they're supposed to accept it. Worse, they think humans are evil for refusing to submit." Beck activated another display showing recent communications intercepts. "The Zenthari Empire has ordered all their remaining fleets to hunt down human ships. The Nexus Coalition is using their mind-link technology to coordinate attacks on our colonies. Even the Korthak merchants have stopped trading with us." Kate felt anger rising in her chest. For years, humans had worked to build good relationships with alien species. They had traded fairly, shared technology, and helped resolve conflicts between different races. Now all of that was forgotten because humans refused to bow down to ancient machines. "How many of our colonies have we lost?" she asked. 17, so far. General Stone is coordinating the evacuation of the outer settlements, but we're running out of ships to move everyone." Kate nodded. Marcus Stone was a good man who had spent his career protecting human civilians. If anyone could save the colonists, it was him. What about our scientists? Are they making any progress understanding Elder technology? Helen Carter has been working around the clock with the artifacts we recovered. She's learned a few things, but nothing that gives us a real advantage yet. Dr. Helen Carter was Earth's best engineer. If she couldn't figure out how to fight the Elder ships, no one could. Beck leaned forward in his chair. "Admiral, there's one more thing. Captain Morrison and his crew are still out there. They've been sending reports from behind enemy lines." Kate felt a moment of relief. Jake Morrison was one of their best officers. When the Defiant had first encountered the Elder ships, everyone assumed the crew was dead. Learning they had survived was the first good news she'd heard in weeks. "What's their status?" "They're hiding in the Outer Rim, dodging both Elder ships and alien patrols. Morrison says they've discovered something important about how the Elder vessels work." Before Kate could ask for details, alarms began blaring throughout the building. Red lights flashed in the corridors, and automated voices announced a priority alert. Kate activated her communication system. "Command Center, report." "Admiral, we're detecting massive energy signatures approaching the Sol system. Multiple contacts moving faster than anything we've ever seen." Kate and Beck ran to the command center. The main display showed the outer edge of the solar system, where dozens of red dots were appearing. Each dot represented an Elder ship moving toward Earth. "How long until they reach us?" Kate asked. "At current speed, 6 hours. Kate looked at the tactical display. Earth had strong defenses, but nothing that could stop ships capable of destroying entire worlds. She made a quick decision. "Send a message to all fleet commanders. I want every available ship protecting Earth. Contact the colony worlds and tell them to prepare for evacuation. And get me a direct line to Dr. Carter." Helen Carter appeared on the communication screen. She was in her laboratory, surrounded by pieces of Elder technology and complex diagrams. "Admiral, I was just about to call you. I think I've found something important." "What is it, Doctor?" "The Elder ships aren't entirely automated. There's something else controlling them. Some kind of intelligence that's been sleeping for thousands of years." Kate felt her heart sink. "You mean there are living Elders on those ships?" "Not exactly living, but not dead either. I think they found a way to preserve their consciousness when their bodies died. The ships are controlled by the minds of ancient Elders who have been waiting for the right time to return. This changed everything." Kate had hoped the Elder ships were just following old programming that could be disrupted or confused. But if actual Elder minds were controlling them, the situation was much more dangerous. "Doctor, do you have any idea how to fight them?" "I'm working on it. The technology is incredibly advanced, but it has weaknesses. Human technology operates on completely different principles than Elder systems. That might give us an advantage." The communication was interrupted by another alert. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the approaching Elder fleet." "Put it through." The main display changed to show the image of a being that must have been an elder. It was tall and thin, with pale skin and large eyes that seemed to glow with inner light. When it spoke, its voice was calm and emotionless. "Humans of Earth," the elder said, "you have violated the natural order by developing technology beyond your permitted level. You have refused to accept the judgment of your superiors. For these crimes, your species will be eliminated." Kate stepped forward. "We don't recognize your authority over us. Humans will defend themselves." The elder's expression didn't change. "Your defiance only proves that you are too dangerous to exist. Other species accept our wisdom and submit to our will. You choose to fight, which shows you are corrupt beyond redemption." "Every species has the right to grow and develop," Kate replied. "You have no right to decide who lives and who dies. We created order in this galaxy when your ancestors were still living in caves. We will restore that order now." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. Kate looked around at her officers. They were afraid, but they were also determined. Humans had always been stubborn when faced with impossible odds. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "it looks like we're going to war." Colonel Sam Parker stood on the bridge of the Liberty, a ship that had once been a peaceful transport vessel. Now it was covered in armor and weapons, converted into a warship by desperate human engineers. Around him, his crew worked at stations that had been added wherever there was space. The Liberty wasn't pretty, but it was home to the human resistance. 6 months had passed since the Elder ships first attacked Earth. The battle had been terrible. Millions of people died before the human fleet managed to drive off the attackers. But it was only a temporary victory. The Elders had many more ships and they were getting stronger every day. "Colonel, we're receiving a transmission from the Revenge," reported his communications officer. On the main screen appeared the face of Commander Lisa Grant. She looked older than her years, hardened by months of fighting. Her ship, the Revenge, was leading a group of fast attack vessels on raids against Elder positions. "Sam, we just hit another Elder supply convoy. 3 ships destroyed, minimal damage to our forces." Parker smiled. Lisa had become one of their best commanders after Captain Morrison had been listed as missing in action. Her tactics were bold and effective, perfect for the kind of war they were fighting. "Good work, Lisa. What's your next target?" "Intelligence says there's an Elder communication relay in the Vega system. If we can destroy it, we might disrupt their coordination in this sector." Parker nodded. "Do it. But be careful. The Zinthari have been patrolling that area." Lisa's expression grew grim. "I know. We've been dodging their ships all week. It's hard to believe they're helping the Elders destroy everything." The transmission ended, and Parker turned back to his tactical display. Red dots showed Elder positions throughout human space. Blue dots marked human resistance cells and hidden bases. There were far more red dots than blue ones. His aide, Lieutenant Tony Clark, approached with a data pad. Tony had been a merchant ship officer before the war started. Now he helped coordinate supply runs between the scattered human forces. "Colonel, we're running low on everything: food, ammunition, medical supplies. The hidden factories are producing as much as they can, but it's not enough." Parker took the pad and reviewed the numbers. They were grim. The human resistance was surviving on captured alien supplies and whatever they could salvage from destroyed ships. It wasn't sustainable. "What about Dr. Morgan's research? Any progress?" Tony shook his head. "He's still working on understanding Elder technology. Says he's close to a breakthrough, but he needs more time." Time was something they didn't have much of. Every day, more human colonies fell to Elder attacks or were betrayed by alien allies. The Resistance was fighting a losing battle against enemies that seemed to have unlimited resources. Parker walked to the observation deck where he could see the stars. Somewhere out there, Captain Jake Morrison might still be alive. His ship, the Defiant, had been missing for months. Some people thought he was dead, but Parker hoped his old friend was still fighting. "Colonel," came a voice behind him. Parker turned to see Dr. Alex Morgan entering the observation deck. The scientist looked excited, which was unusual. For months, he had been frustrated by his inability to understand Elder technology. "Doctor, Tony tells me you might have found something." Alex nodded eagerly. I think I know why we've been able to hurt the Elder ships when other species can't. Parker raised an eyebrow. It was true that human weapons seemed more effective against Elder vessels than alien technology, but no one understood why. The key is in how we think about technology, Alex continued. Every alien species we've encountered builds their technology around principles they learned from Elder artifacts. Their computers, their weapons, their ships. Everything is based on copying Elder designs. And that's bad because the Elder ships can control any technology that's based on their principles. When a Xanthari ship attacks an Elder vessel, the Elder can simply shut down the Xanthari weapons. But human technology works completely differently. Parker began to understand. We developed our technology independently. We never had access to Elder artifacts like the other species did. Exactly. Our computers use different programming languages. Our weapons operate on different physics principles. Our ships have completely different designs. The Elders can't control what they don't understand. This was the best news Parker had heard in months. Can we use this knowledge to build better weapons? Alex smiled. Helen Carter and I have been working together. We think we can modify our existing weapons to be even more effective against Elder ships, but we need resources and time to build them. Before Parker could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the ship. The bridge crew's voices could be heard over the communication system reporting multiple contacts approaching their position. Parker and Alex rushed back to the bridge. The tactical display showed a dozen ships moving toward the Liberty's location. At first, Parker thought they were Elder vessels, but then he recognized the energy signatures. Those are human ships, reported the sensor officer. Can you identify them? Yes, sir. The lead ship is the Defiant. Parker felt his heart leap. Jake Morrison was alive. After months of uncertainty, his friend had returned. Open a communication channel. The main screen flickered, and Jake Morrison's face appeared. He looked tired and his uniform was damaged, but he was smiling. Hello, Sam. Sorry we're late to the party. Jake, we thought you were dead. Where have you been? Behind enemy lines, gathering intelligence. And I brought some friends. The camera angle widened to show Jake's bridge. Parker was surprised to see alien crew members working alongside the humans. There was a Xanthari officer at the weapons station, and what looked like a Nexus technician at communications. Jake, are those aliens on your ship? That's right. Turns out not all aliens are happy about the Elder return. Some of them have figured out that the Elders plan to destroy everyone, not just humans. This was unexpected. For months, every alien species had been working with the Elders against humanity. How many ships do you have with you? Parker asked. 12 human vessels and about 30 alien ships. Their crews finally realized that the Elders aren't gods. They're tyrants who want to control the entire galaxy. Parker looked at his tactical display again. With Jake's reinforcements, they suddenly had enough ships to launch major operations against Elder positions. Jake, we need to talk. Can you come aboard the Liberty? Already on my way over. An hour. Later, Jake Morrison sat in the Liberty's conference room with Parker, Alex Morgan, and the other resistance leaders. With him were 2 aliens, Commander Zara, a Xanthari who had refused to follow her government's orders, and Tech-9, a Nexus individual who had broken free from the collective mind link. The situation is changing, Jake explained. More alien. Crews are starting to question why they're helping the Elders destroy everything they've built. Some species are secretly sending us supplies and information. Commander Zara spoke up. Her voice was strong despite her people's reputation for arrogance. My government calls me a traitor, but I've seen what the Elder ships do. They don't just destroy military targets, they eliminate entire civilizations. Women, children, everyone. Tech-9 nodded agreement. The Nexus Collective believed the Elders would bring peace. Instead, they bring only death. Some of us have chosen to break free from the Collective rather than participate in genocide. Alex Morgan leaned forward. Jake, what did you learn about the Elder ships during your time behind enemy lines? They're not invincible. Helen Carter was right about their technology having weaknesses. But more importantly, we discovered something about the Elders themselves. Jake, activated a small device that projected a holographic image. It showed the inside of an elder ship, with strange chambers filled with glowing energy. The elders didn't just preserve their minds when their bodies died. They're afraid. They eliminated their entire species rather than allow natural evolution to change them. Now they want to prevent any other species from growing beyond what they were. Parker studied the image. So this isn't about maintaining order. It's about fear. That's right. They're terrified that someone might become more advanced than they were. That's why they target the most developed civilizations first. Commander Zara looked angry. They made us worship them while planning to destroy us all along. But now, we know the truth, Jake said. And we're not the only ones. Resistance movements are starting on alien worlds throughout the galaxy. The elder ships are powerful, but they can't be everywhere at once. Parker felt hope for the first time in months. They were still outnumbered and outgunned, but they weren't alone anymore. What do you suggest we do? He asked. Jake smiled grimly. We take the fight to them, hit their command centers, disrupt their communications, and show the galaxy that the elders can be defeated. The war was about to enter a new phase. Fleet Admiral Kate Phillips stood in the command center of the massive space station that served as headquarters for Operation Prometheus. Around her, officers from dozens of different species worked together at control stations. Humans, Centauri, Nexus, and even some Korthak had joined the final assault against the Elder Command Center. Admiral, all task forces report ready, announced her aide. Kate looked at the tactical display showing the galactic core where the Elder Command Nexus was hidden. It was a massive artificial structure that had been built around an ancient star. According to their intelligence, it contained the primary consciousness that controlled all Elder ships throughout the galaxy. Colonel Parker, status report on the heavy assault fleet. Sam Parker's voice came through the communication system from his flagship. All ships ready, Admiral. We've got every heavy cruiser and battleship we could find. The alien crews are nervous, but they're committed to the mission. Commander Grant, how are your fast attack squadrons? Lisa Grant responded from the bridge of the Revenge. Ready to go, ma'am. My pilots know their jobs. We'll hit the defensive positions and clear a path for the assault teams. Captain Morrison, what about the reconnaissance group? Jake Morrison was leading a mixed force of human and alien scouts. We're in position to coordinate target priorities. The alien crews have been very helpful in identifying weak points in Elder ship designs. Kate took a deep breath. This was humanity's greatest gamble. They had gathered every available ship for this single attack. If they failed, there would be no second chance. Dr. Morgan, are you and Dr. Carter ready for the infiltration? Alex Morgan and Helen Carter were aboard, a specially modified stealth ship that would try to penetrate the Elder command structure. Ready, Admiral. We've got the virus programs that should disrupt their control systems. Remember, everyone, Kate announced to all task forces, we're not just fighting for humanity anymore. We're fighting for every species in the galaxy that wants to be free. The attack began with Parker's heavy ships engaging the outer defenses. Elder Harbinger vessels moved to intercept, their ancient weapons firing beams of energy that could destroy planets. But the human-alien alliance had learned from months of combat. Their ships moved in coordinated patterns using tactics the Elders had never encountered. Admiral, the first defensive line is breaking, reported Parker. Our new weapons are working, better than expected. Helen Carter had designed new plasma torpedoes that could pierce Elder shields by exploiting weaknesses in their power systems. The weapons were crude compared to Elder technology, but they were effective. Lisa Grant's fast attack ships darted between the larger vessels, striking at Elder communication arrays and sensor stations. Defensive coordination is dropping, she reported. The Harbingers are starting to act independently instead of working together. Meanwhile, Jake Morrison's scouts provided real-time intelligence on Elder ship movements. His mixed crews of humans and aliens worked together smoothly, their different perspectives helping identify tactical opportunities. Jake, we're seeing unusual energy readings from the command structure, Kate announced. What's your assessment? It looks like they're powering up something big. Maybe a super weapon designed to destroy entire fleets at once. Kate felt a moment of fear. If the Elders had a weapon that could eliminate their entire attack force, the mission would fail before they reached the target. Alex, Helen, can you accelerate your approach? We may be running out of time. Dr. Morgan's voice crackled through the communication system. We are almost at the infiltration point. The Elder defenses are focused on the main battle, so we should be able to get inside. The stealth ship carrying the two scientists approached the massive Elder structure. Up close, it was even more impressive than the long-range scans had suggested. The artificial construct was larger than most planets, covered in towers and energy conduits that pulsed with ancient power. Helen, are you seeing this? Alex whispered as they flew through a gap in the outer hull. It's incredible, Helen replied. The engineering is beyond anything we thought possible. But look at those power distribution patterns. There are weak points we can exploit. They landed their ship in what appeared to be a maintenance bay deep inside the structure. The artificial gravity was lighter than Earth normal, and the air was thin but breathable. Emergency lighting provided just enough illumination to see the corridors ahead. According to our scans, the main control center should be about 2 kilometers ahead, Alex said, checking his portable scanner. They moved carefully through the empty corridors. The walls were covered with the same strange symbols they had seen on the derelict ships months ago. But here, the symbols glowed with inner light, as if they were alive. Alex, look at this, Helen called from a side chamber. Inside the room were dozens of cylindrical containers filled with glowing liquid. Floating in each container was what looked like a brain, connected to cables and monitoring equipment. These must be the preserved Elder minds, Alex realized. They're not really alive, but they're not dead either. How many do you think there are in this entire structure? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. An entire civilization preserved in artificial containers. They continued toward the control center, passing more chambers filled with the preserved minds of ancient Elders. Finally, they reached a massive room dominated by a central platform surrounded by holographic displays. This is it, Helen said. The central control node that coordinates all Elder ships. Alex began connecting his equipment to the Elder systems. The virus programs he and Helen had designed were based on the fundamental differences between human and Elder technology. If they worked, they would disrupt the neural networks that allowed the preserved minds to control their ships. Alex, hurry, Helen urged, monitoring her scanner. I'm detecting movement in the corridors. Something knows. We're here. The chamber doors opened and a figure entered. It was tall and pale, wearing robes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. This was an Elder, but unlike the preserved minds, this one seemed to have a physical form. Humans, the being said, in a voice that echoed strangely in the large chamber. You should not have come here. Alex continued working on the control systems while Helen stepped forward to face the Elder. Why are you doing this? She demanded. Why destroy entire civilizations? Because they grow beyond their proper limits, the Elder replied calmly. We achieved perfection, and then we stopped. Other species continue to change and evolve. They become chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. Change isn't dangerous, Helen argued. It's natural. It's how life grows and improves. Change led to our destruction. We eliminated ourselves rather than accept chaos. Now we prevent others from making the same mistake. Alex looked up from his work. You're not trying to help anyone. You're trying to control them. Control brings order. Order brings peace. No, Helen said firmly. Control brings stagnation. You're so afraid of change that you'd rather destroy the galaxy than let it grow. The Elder moved toward them, but Alex finished his work just in time. The virus programs activated, spreading through the neural networks that connected all the preserved minds. Throughout the command structure, the glowing containers began flickering. The preserved Elder minds were losing their connection to the control systems. On the tactical displays, reports came in that Elder ships throughout the galaxy were stopping their attacks, their ancient pilots no longer able to coordinate their actions. What have you done? The Elder demanded. We've set you free, why? Alex replied. Free from the fear that's kept you trapped for thousands of years. The elder staggered as the control system shut down around them. We cannot exist without order, without control. Then learn to live with uncertainty, Helen said. That's what every other species has to do. Outside, the battle was ending. Without coordination from the command center, the elder ships were withdrawing or shutting down entirely. The artificial construct that housed the preserved mines began powering down, its ancient systems finally going silent after millennia of operation. Kate's voice came through their communicators. Alex, Helen, what's your status? Mission accomplished. Admiral, the Elder Control Network is down. Outstanding. All ships begin recovery operations. We've won. As they prepared to leave the command structure, Alex looked back at the Elder who had confronted them. The being was sitting quietly, no longer radiating the terrible certainty that had driven the campaign of destruction. What will you do now? Alex asked. We will try to remember what it was like to be alive, the Elder replied sadly. Perhaps it is time to learn from you younger species, instead of trying to control them. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had not only survived the Elder return, but had shown that even ancient powers could be overcome by determination and cooperation. More importantly, they had proven that different species could work together when they shared a common goal. The age of Elder domination was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun.